Was it different spot of your leg each time?
Yeah, broke my right leg my junior year, broke my left ankle my senior year.
Yeah.
So everybody's worried about my right leg, but heck, it had a big old calcium deposit on it. Still to this day, it does.
Probably stronger than it was
Oh
before
yeah,
you broke it.
all I did was drink milk and eat Tums to build up that calcium.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that happened. So mom wanted me to go to college, and I wanted to just give up football and go be a pipeliner with my grandma and grandpa. And went to Western, enrolled in school the day before it started, or that Friday before it started. Moved in my stuff that Sunday before it started.
So at this point, you're thinking football is.
Nah, I told my parents I'd try that because they wanted me to.
So you still had ambition to.
I mean, I did. I mean, I trained because that's all I did my whole life was train and stuff. So, I mean, after I broke that leg, I still come back, play basketball and baseball, had pretty good senior years and that stuff. We won 4th region, Class A in basketball, and we won the district in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Got beat first, second round in the regional baseball. But, I was still training and stuff, and I just told them if I went to college, I'd try out because I don't want to be a student. I don't want to go to work. If I was going to go to work, I just want to go to the pipeline and get it over with and start a career.
Right.
But tried out the end of that week, made the team, and, it was up and down that walk-on year because, you're a walk-on, you're a peasant to them. So, but,
So you made the team. So explain to everybody what that meant. When you make the team, what is the roster? What does making the team actually mean?
At Western, there's over 110 guys on the roster. And the roster just means basically you get a jersey. There's only going to be, I think, 56 travel. And on home games.
So how many of those would be a scholarship back in those days?
Around 50 or 60, probably.
50 or 60?
Yeah.
So the majority of the numbers are from walk-on at Western at that time?
Well, they gave partial scholarships back then. So there was probably full walk-on kids. There's probably about 10 of them that walked on.
So not very many at all.
Nah, usually they weed out themselves. Because, they make it rough. You're a practice dummy, you hold pads, and you get hit and beat on and all that stuff. And
so no aid, no help at all. There's only 10 of them.
Yeah, you showing up to practice.
And they are absolute tackling dummies.
Yeah, and I'm wearing stuff like this to go practice in. What I bring is what I do. Because, Western at the time was still 1AA, and, it was not.
And they just won a national championship?
In 2002, so about 3 or 4 years ago. So, the Stars, they got all nice stuff. But
was Harbaugh still there?
No, he left 2 years prior to me. David Elson was my head coach. But the walk-on year was rough, Yeah, you took your beats and bruises, but, I trained with the best of them.
Now, what position were you playing?
I played outside linebacker my first year.
As a walk-on?
As a walk-on, and I shouldn't have been there. And then finally, going into that redshirt freshman year in spring ball, it's basically every spot that's for grab, and I told the coach.
Now, wait a minute. So out of 10 of you, the coaches had took enough notice in you.
Oh, there was trying out. There's probably 50, maybe more than that.
But only 10 of you got kept.
Probably not even 10. Probably, I know of 4 because those 4 graduated with me. They made it the whole way.
Awesome.
Nah,
you still keep up with any of those?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's got to be a heck of a group.
Oh yeah.
There.
One of them coaches college football now.
Really?
Yeah.
Where at?
Eastern Kentucky.
Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah.
Is that not amazing?
Yeah. And
walked on.
Other one is to
on purpose be a tackling dummy and survive the. Yeah. I can't imagine how hard it would be for the walk-on kid versus the kid who's got the full scholarship.
Right. Other one, he works at the WKU Police Department. He's high up in that. Another one is in Louisville. He's got a big family up there. He's just got an ordinary job. He comes down to homecoming and whatnot. It's good to see him. All of us, there was 3 or 4 that would come and go, but a lot of times those guys didn't last. And you always remember them. And you can tell the first day when you're running 16.5 gassers who's making and who ain't. So.
Right.
Of course, all those coaches, it's a little different. All those coaches knew me before because they were recruiting me. So it was kind of different. But I still had to do the walk-on process and got treated just like, then we all had to share a locker over in the corner. And
yeah.
But it was fun. But going into that spring ball year, every position's up for grabs, or that's what they say. And I moved. I told the coach I wanted to move to middle. And they were short a couple because they had graduation.
Middle
Linebacker.
Okay.
So I played Mike. And
Did they run like a 4-3 style?
3-4.
3-4.
So 3 D linemen and 2 outside backers that sometimes come, and then Mike and Will in the middle. And spring ball, I got my chance.
Most people had done went to the spread by this time.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Okay.
And because I didn't have long enough arms to be facing those linemen on line of scrimmage, but got out there, ended up making it all my way up to the first team at spring ball that year, and the rest was kind of history. So we rolled in
as a red shirt.
As a redshirt freshman. So that spring ball, so I rolled into summer camp, being the number 2 behind a senior. He got hurt first game of the season against Georgia. We got in there and got spanked. I made Sports Center twice that game, and then
for a good reason or a
bad reason. But it depends on how you.
Hey, you got to play Georgia, the Dogs, right?
Got to play the Dogs.
2-time national champs.
Yeah.
Lately.
3-time. 92,000. Because I hadn't played a game since.
What was it like playing between the hedges? I mean, how loud is it?
Oh, it's loud.
Can you help us understand how loud? Because I've heard that the running back can't hear the quarterback yelling the cadence out. Is that
Georgia was loud, but the loudest was Florida. We went on offense on Florida
in
the swamp the year after they won the national championship. Our first 3 plays, our up top couldn't relay the message downstairs because they couldn't hear in their headsets
from the booth.
So they just
your coaches are wearing headsets.
So they just called the play,
which double as ear noise counseling. So, and they could not hear.
Nope, they just said they.
So, is the coach just down there drawing it up in the?
I don't know how they did it. I'd have to get it retold by my old roommate, but yeah, they just signaled in a couple basic plays, and we got a delay game out of it on the first play because everybody was just like this on the sidelines because nobody knew what to do.
Absolutely amazing.
So it's loud, and Virginia Tech was also very loud. They
do the Inner Sandman before.
Yeah, the coaches had problems here and there too. So.
Now, when you're playing, for those that everybody don't know, everybody's got a during the game or a pregame big thing that kind of
especially
each school does.
Yeah.
So I love the Inner Sandman.
It's cool.
So are you on the sideline when all that's getting ready to happen?
For which one?
For the Inner Sandman?
I was actually on the 50-yard line doing the toss.
So you have to sit there as an opponent.
Oh yeah,
and watch every bit of that stuff happen.
They make it intimidating, which I wanted.
So what?
I wanted to see.
Is it intimidating?
No, to me it was cool. I mean, I was just looking around and I was singing the song, and the ref had to poke me on the shoulder. He goes, "Heads or tails?" I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, man! I want to watch it." But I think I just ended up saying tails or something,
Yeah.
But it was phenomenal. Playing there,
and the crowd's going nuts.
My parents said they even got into it, started jumping up and down. They didn't know the words, but they said it.
We've got to ask Larry to polish up on his Metallicas.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they said they had the friendliest fans. But I mean, we played at some cool places. When you transition at 1A, because I think 7 of our opponents were 1A and 5 of them were still 1AA. It was pretty cool to go see some of those cool places. So. Yeah,
so you got to play at Florida,
Georgia, Virginia Tech, Alabama was loud.
You got to play at Alabama.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Okay, UT. We don't want to talk about it. I personally, yeah. Which one would you rank and say that is the place? If I got to play again, I'd want to play there.
Oh, Virginia Tech, no doubt.
Virginia Tech.
And then probably Florida, Georgia. Then Rocky Top. Of course, Rocky Top wasn't Rocky Top what it was last year. There was still 90-some thousand singing Rocky Top, 100-degree heat, but and you were over on the sideline chumming to it too because it's just so catchy. But
can't help it. Yeah,
I'd say it would probably be up there if it was they wouldn't play Western. I would say because it was their home opener and whatnot, and it was 11 a.m. kickoff time or something like that. So the fans wouldn't all into it.
So against
Tennessee. Indiana was the worst.
The worst,
like Power 5.
Explain yourself.
Well, just because. Indiana football was Indiana football. I mean, it was good back in the day. They were trying to build onto their stadium.
Playing in the Big Ten.
And, I mean, their crowd was kind of puny. I mean, you could yell across the field.
Did you all ever come close to handling one of the y'all were moving from 1AA to what we call
Yeah, we played
1A.
We played Indiana close that year. I think it was like probably 30-some to 20 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's competitive. Beat Ball State a couple times. Beat Middle Tennessee a couple times. So, I mean, that's just right off the top of my head. We played
Now,
a couple other MAC schools, Sunbelt schools.
Mm-hmm. As a Mike linebacker, you're for the most part, I would assume you're looking through the guards to the backs.
Yep.
Somewhat.
Right.
So, tell me about a guard that you did not want to deal with. That was it during 1A or with the 1AA kids, or was it the
By far the worst line to face, just hitting just because they cut every play was Navy. I mean,
Navy?
You were
You
talking.
hadn't told us about Navy yet. So you played Navy?
Yeah, we played Navy. So
the Admirals,
center, guard, and all of them coming at you down the line for midline, cutting you because they already chopped our D line, and now they're coming up chop you. You fight off one chop, here comes another chop from either the tight end or the back.
So for the people watching at home, what does Navy football, Army, Air Force?
Yeah.
When they're gonna hate me for saying this, but that's my favorite game of the year is watching before Christmas, watching Navy and Army.
Cool.
But they all basically do the same thing. So could you explain to them the difference? It's so different to watch them versus watching anybody else.
Where they have to be.
Why was it so difficult to face Navy?
One, they had pride. I mean, you could tell that from the get go. They played as hard as I thought I played hard. They were matching me times 10, and a lot of people. I mean, they played hard from the kickoff. Didn't matter what they did. Their star player. I mean, there was no difference. They were all about like us. They were all undersized and underachieved, and just wanted to hit you right in the mouth.
Against the big boys.
Exactly.
Every week.
And then with their weight limit size and stuff, just to be in the corporations, of course, I'm probably getting some of this stuff wrong. They all run that option style football where all their linemen are, that 260, 270 frame. So they can't face those 300-pound D linemen that you're going to see at the big, 1A school.
Right.
So they run that where you just chop them in half and just keep going where there's 3 different options every play. Option
3 yards and a cloud of dust.
Exactly.
But I'll watch them some weeks and they'll put up 40, 50 points.
Yeah, if you're not disciplined now, they'll take advantage of you in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool to watch when it's run effectively. But that was by far the hardest. And then probably Alabama next. I think the year we played them, it was the year they had Julio and Mark Ingram.
NFL stars, yeah.
And in 3 of their 5 got drafted within the first 2 rounds. Wow. So when they were hitting you, they were just swallowing.
You knew you'd been hit.
They were swallowing you whole.
So now, did you ever get to do a blitz, or did you ever get a pick? Did you ever do anything against these big schools that everybody out there that they need to know? I did that. I pulled that off.
Nah.
Did you ever scratch that itch against one of those big teams?
I mean, it was cool to tackle Tebow. Got to tackle.
You tackled Tim Tebow.
Julio. Got to tackle Julio. Arenas.
Solo.
Yeah.
Solo. You solo brought down Tim Tebow.
Yeah. They had Ingram. I don't remember.
What do you think, Brian? I've never done that. I've never done it. I've never seen anybody that I've ever met do that.
And of course, Cam
Great dude, solid Christian man. Too.
Yeah, he's
solid Christian man.
Cam Newton come in after he got in, so he was even more massive. Of course, they had a couple players that made it in the draft. Of course, Alabama that year had Ingram, Julio, the Arenas kid that played. He returned punt, so I got to tackle him on punt team. So it was kind of cool to do that one. Georgia, I don't remember any of the stars that played for Georgia. My favorite hit of all time was playing Ball State, their number 1 receiver. We were down. We just scored, so we needed the ball back. And I love the onside team. All right, and so my job was to jack up the first guy. And, boy, did I jack him up.
Now explain what an onside is in case somebody don't know.
Basically, you got to have the ball back, so it's got to travel 10 yards, so it usually bounces.
It's during the kickoff.
It's during the kickoff, and it bounces, up and down the sideline, towards the sideline, trying to get a good hop. But I flipped their best player over. I put my helmet about yay high when he's jumping up for the ball, and he had that ball, and he did that flip. We got the ball back, but we lost. But it was a heck of a hit.
So your job, okay. So during practice, so everybody will know a little bit about football because, as I told you earlier, one of the things that impresses me always about Metcalf is them kids will absolutely get after you from the first whistle to the very last one, whether they're having a good year or a challenging year in a county school. And obviously, right now, you've made a very big success. All right. So, what makes that level of toughness and tenacity is what I wanted us to kind of get to as we work ourselves through. So, tell me what the coaches told you in practice when you practice an onside kick. What's your job? What do they tell you to do?
You got a ball guy, blocker guy, and they knew from the get go. I was on kickoff team all 4 years, and that's where I got my nickname. Nickname I still get called.
What is that nickname, huh?
Sledge.
The Sledge.
That's what most of my teammates call
Coach Sledge.
Right? Don't start that.
Not Coach Sledge. Okay, we got a disclaimer here.
Well, we had to retire that.
The Sledge. So you've retired the Sledge. Okay, we got it.
Because on kickoff, that's what they wanted me to do. Of course, that was back when you had the wedges. And so I was just the L3. We kicked it deep left, and I would bust it up the wedge. And every game, that was my favorite part.
Yeah.
So he got the blood flowing. You know, when you run down in front of that many screaming fans and you knock somebody out, you know. Of course, you didn't have to worry about making a tackle. You just worried about blowing somebody up. But that was always cool. But they always knew I was blocking their best player. But you wasn't blocking. You were jacking him up. That's basically what you was trying to do. And
so
that stands out to me. It's one of the best hits. You know.
And flipping him over.
Yeah.
And y'all recovered the ball.
Because he ended up playing in the league for a couple of years, so it was pretty cool.
Awesome.
I never forgot his name.
Yeah.
Now, the worst hit, trying to tackle T.Y. Hilton. I got laid out on our sideline, and I don't remember a lot of it. I just got knocked out blindsided and got knocked on my back. First thing hit was my head. I popped up, and
you were
like that, and I come off to the sideline, and he's like, LJ, you got to get back out there. And I went back out there, and of course, I was supposed to be calling the defense, and all the defense guys are getting mad at me because they were signaling in, and I was just saying, you know, nickel 51, and they were like, what?
Did you say, I'm Batman? You remember the commercial? Yeah. I'm Batman.
I don't think it was that. I was still spitting out defenses, but none of it made sense, and we didn't get lined up for 2 plays in a row. They finally had to come out and ask me what was wrong with me. I was like, I don't know where I'm at. I know I was playing football, and I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
But they give you those concussion tests, and, of course, they give you those 3 words to repeat and all these tests. And I just stayed in there in the back room, and I just kept repeating it to myself because I wanted to get back in there. And I passed the concussion test. And
Did you?
Oh, yeah, those doctors kept looking at my eyes and like, I think you ought to send me to the hospital. I was like, I passed those tests. Give me my helmet back. I'm ready to go. Let's go. They wouldn't let me. They sent me to the hospital, so that's kind of got ruined the time. And I never got to tackle T.Y., so that was my worst hit.
So when you were playing at Western, you all had fully made the transition from 1AA to
my senior year. We played full 1A schedule.
Okay,
and we won 0 games.
Yeah,
we lost 6 games by a touchdown.
Yeah,
or less. It was rough.
But your AA years were very successful.
We went 7-5 a couple years, 6-6 a couple years. So it was kind of cool to see that transition, but also when you leave a senior as a loser going in that first 1A school, it was kind of heartbreaking. Of course, we had it games won multiple times. I remember we got beat by North Texas, having the lead. All we had to do was run out the clock, and our quarterback fumbles, and they pick up a fumble, 40 seconds left, run it back for a touchdown, 93.
You got to be kidding.
To beat us. So the heartbreakers like that, it just, of course, and that all my buddies, we joke about how we never won a game, but those guys that you meet in college and play with, those are some of your best friends. So
yeah,
we'll make a good time out of it.
So your college career, you would say,
I had a blast.
Was absolutely wonderful. Yeah,
I love it. Wouldn't change for a bit. Glad I walked on. Glad I made the most of it. Probably started 20 games in my career. Probably more than that. Got named captain 5 or 6 times. I think I ended like 150, 160 tackles in my career. So I wouldn't change it. I had a blast. Had career high against UK.
Mom and Dad come to every game.
They missed one. Of course, it was rough. Dad coached on Friday night with my brother, having their successful season, and then traveling all through the night. So thank God for them to, make that sacrifice to come, because they had some tired nights. Dad sometimes take a nap during tailgating and whatnot, while my brother and mom, toured campus, but
Right.
thankful that they got to make all those games. I missed the one in Texas. It was too far and couldn't get a flight in time because I think we kicked off at like 12, so they had a away game that night.
Just literally couldn't get there.
They literally would have had to leave as soon as their game was over to make it that time. So I was thankful for that, and my family, all of them, come to most of the games.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have a whole Metcalf session. There'd be at least, even the away games, be 10 to 15 people.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, in college, you get 4 tickets given to you, and then what you do is just try to ask your teammates for all their tickets. And everybody knew that, hey, if you ain't using yours, give them to me, because home games, there's 30, 50 people in a section.
Right.
Over there having a blast. Tailgating and then coming to watch. And so football was family, family was football.
So highlight of the college playing career, the absolute highlight, or was it? Would you just say the whole experience coming from that one of 4 to being named a captain?
Probably just the whole experience. I mean, I had good games, had bad games.
Would you encourage young boys that are watching this to take?
Oh yeah, and I try to tell our kids to play all sports, because when you get my age, you can't go play pickup basketball because you're gonna hurt for a week.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't nowhere to put pads on unless you're playing NFL, and you can go play men's softball league, but who wants to go do that? So all those things are gonna be over, so you might as well play them while you can and make the most out of it. And then during your off time, instead of being on your phone, go train.
Exactly.
And that's what I try to tell my kids. But no, I don't have any regrets, and I loved every minute of it. And still this day, I talk to about 7 of my teammates every day from college. And, of course, I kept up with all my Metcalf.
Several of them coaching.
Oh, yeah. There's out of my 7, they're closest to us, 2 of them are coaching. So we got 3 out of the 4 coaching.
And one's at Eastern and
well, those are there's more than that I played with that are coaches now. I'm just talking about the guys that I graduated with that play football that I still keep in touch with daily. So it was a phenomenal time. I had a lot of injuries. I probably dislocated my shoulder probably 50, 60 times, and I finally had to have shoulder surgery on that. So I missed one off season. But I just come out of the game and everybody just yells shoulders out, and I'd pop it back in, and I'd just go back in there, and all those kids.
It's a new day today, isn't it?
All those teammates loved that about me, because they could just see the pain on my face, and they sit over there and watch me. Of course, I had to do it myself to get it right. Just launch it back up in there, give a couple of leads, and get back out there. So they
put me back in, and they wanted to take you to the hospital.
And of course, as soon as they see me jogging out, all of them, of course, on walkthrough days, they to know everybody was on the same page. They would say they'd go over every special team. They'd be Harbison's out, and everybody do 3 claps, and then the sub would have to go in, or we'd have to run. And so instead of saying Harbison's out, they'd always say shoulders out, because that'd be kind of
pop it back in and keep going.
Oh yeah.
So
a couple games I had to play with a couple pain pills just to make through.
Yeah.
So it was there towards the end. It's too much scar tissue that they had to do it. So.
Yeah. Did you ever get any thoughts or ambitions or looks from the league?
Oh no. They tried to get me to try out for the senior day, and I knew my body couldn't uphold no more of that stuff. I had a great 5 years.
And you knew it was time.
And that was, I think, out of my senior class, there's 2 of them that tried.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them got some looks, but yeah, I mean, it's so much more difficult to make the league than what people realize. Even to make college, it's so much.
Yeah, 1 in a million, right?
Oh, I don't know what the odds are, but I played with some special players. We played with quite a few that made the league and made successful careers out of it. So it's always cool to talk to them, catch up with them. Of course, they're retired now, or per se, but at a young age. But those guys,
it's a speed and train. It don't last long with the guys that do.
And
usually, the last time I saw a running back linebacker type, it was like 1.2 years or something.
Oh,
It's how long they last.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you don't see that. You can see the big names that are constants.
Yeah.
Well, what about the 50 other guys that?
But they. It was a great playing career. Topper for life, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So try to get down there as many games as I can. We got an alumni golf outing coming up for their spring game. A couple of weeks, I got to decide if I'm going to play in or not. But
yeah. pop a shoulder back in and go play the back nine?
Shoulder's good. Shoulder hadn't popped out for a long time. Yeah, the doctor told me I would never be able to raise a baby above my head. I still put 225 on my head.
There you go.
I can't beat that. So.
There you go. So you had a stellar high school career, Metcalf as a Hornet.
Well, 2 years ain't really stellar, but I made the most.
Your team was.
His team was really good.
You have witnessed success in your high school career, your father's coaching career that you got to grow up seeing, and then you go to Western, you get to see success again, the 75, and then you move, and you all, I guess you should have went 7 and could have won 6 or 7 games.
Right, yeah.
Could have went either way. Ball didn't go your way.
Yeah.
So in the first of one single A, I don't even know what it's called. They've renamed it. It should be 1A, but it's called something else now. So you saw all that success. So at what point in there did you say, I think I want to coach football?
It didn't happen for another year. After graduation, had interviews at Fruit Loom, a couple of insurance places, got offered jobs, and come out of Fruit Loom one day and got offered a job, and it was 5 o'clock and it was pitch black. I was like, I can't do this. I can't walk out of an office and not know what time of day it is. I was like, this ain't for me. And my roommate, he just started at Southmore, and that was when they were starting up their high school and their program.
Well, JV only.
And he said they were looking for a few more coaches, and just kept bugging me every night when I come home. Started a construction job, just working outside and stuff. And he just kept bugging me, and finally I went over there, helped Southmore when they started up for 2 years. And then finally Freddie called, needed some help at Metcalf. And then by that time...
Did your dad never ask you to...
Yeah, he asked me, but I never really wanted to go back, go back in the foottails.
I guess football, you had poured your guts into it.
Right. So
maybe it was time for just a little break.
Yeah. But my roommate, he bugged the crap out of me. And, of course, his dad and him, they've already been very successful. Brandon Smith and Chuck Smith.
Yeah.
Being very successful. So he was
Chuck was at Bull County.
Yep.
For a number of years. UK.
Yeah, UK. But he was under Mark Nelson. Mark Nelson gave us our first shot. Of course, he got hired on. He was a PE major, so he started working there when the school started. And I started coaching the D-line there with a couple guys and loved it. And then we started that next year up. I made it through the summer, and that's when I got the call from Fred. They needed help. And by that time, I'd already started my master's on teaching, just to try to get my foot in the door. Because if I was going to be a coach, you might as well be a teacher.
So you caught the bug. So South Warren kind of
basically. Yeah.
Did a switch went off in you?
I guess you can say that. I love that construction life. I ain't gonna lie, but I wouldn't. My body would never hold up. But I enjoyed working outside and working with my hands. But that's the path that led me down. So I moved to Metcalf and finished my degree up. And they hooked me with a little special ed job there and assistant coach for 1 year. And then Fred said he was retiring. I wanted to know if I wanted it. I said yes. So I applied for it and I did the interview process. And 8 years later, here we are.
So you've been coaching for 8 years at
Head coach for 8 years and 1 as assistant. So 9 years total.
Yeah.
And 1 year at South, 1.5 at South Warren.
Right. Right.
So.
Well, I've got to. Last week, we had Chad Griffin on with Hart County.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of
Hart County's so blessed. He is Chad.
For sure.
From us meeting him, he looks like a great find and a great grab, to get him.
Sure.
And obviously Metcalf, you've done a wonderful job at Metcalf, and hats off to you, hats off to Chad. So I have something I want to discuss with you about, because it turns out he name dropped you.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out for the life of me if it's positive or negative. So we're going to take a break real quick.
Okay.
And I want to figure out, we're going to put this to rest, okay. All right?
All right.
So let's take a break real quick and we'll come right back.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you enjoyed the discussion and gained some valuable insights. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a rating and review. Join us next time for part 3 in a 3-part series with LJ Harbison. We'll be back soon. You're listening to First Down and Life.